switching to English as well, as Creative Mornings are recording all the sessions, and we want to get a wider reach with like switching to English. So English. Okay. As Lisa mentioned, my name is Marc Thiele, and I run an event called Beyond Tellerrand. And this like little talk of like 20-25 minutes is not going to teach you anything or got any practical advice. It's more like a story about me and, as she said, my motivation to run it and to keep running it. I'm going to speak about the reason for starting it and many little and small things that keep me running it. And that means that this talk is like quite personal at some points, but I hope you're going to take something with you. So, to understand what I'm telling you, I'm going to give you a bit of background about myself. Back in school, I was one of the kids that really didn't like school a lot, and at home, I've got 3 kids, and when it comes to school, my wife always tells me to shut the fuck up, because I better don't speak about school with my kids, it would demotivate them. So what I did know back in school was what I did not want to become or be, and I had many subjects where I was asking myself like, what do I need that for, you know? And that helped me at least find kind of a direction where I was going to. And back then I already learned to listen to my inner feeling, to my guts, and trusting that somehow I would make the right decision to make a living. No, I started using my computer, or a computer, quite early. This machine, a C64, and no, I didn't code on that one, and I didn't really program. I was playing games like Pirates, Defender of the Crown. Anyone knows these kind of games? 1? Am I really that old? Oh, 2. Great. Michael, hi. Okay, yeah. So yes, I also joined the demo group, and I met lovely people there, people like Christian Heilmann, who some of you might know, and we are up to the day our friends. I started doing BBS graphics, this kind of stuff, and graphics for demos and all that kind of stuff, and I loved the limitation of the machine and of the graphics somehow. And what I liked even more was the people at the machine. It wasn't the computer or the stuff I did, it was more the community already, the people. Because what we did next to like sitting in someone's Kinderzimmer and drinking beer and coding and doing all the graphics was we attended demo parties and copy parties in Denmark and in the Netherlands, and we met quite some people there, had great fun, more or less like conferences nowadays, right? Except we couldn't afford hotels back then, right? So we slept under the tables. And I loved the atmosphere really. It was really a bit like the conferences nowadays or hackathons. We did stuff together and entered the demo competitions. After that time, so when the C64 was more or less dead, like mid or end 90s, all of us lost interest in the computer. And I tried to get into the demo scene or ANSI scene on a PC. It's quite similar to the lowest graphics I showed you before. But you know, I never really got into the scene, like the community, as I was into the C64 community. Don't know exactly why, but I lost interest there, and I had no idea that later then I would like use a computer to earn my money with somehow. So after running holiday camps for quite a while in the spring and autumn breaks, and later also in the summer breaks with kids. I thought to myself, so what I'm going to work at? Like, what's my job going to be? So I went to the Arbeitsamt in around 1997 and asked the job center for agencies I could apply to. I created a website back then, a 3-page website, and burned it on a CD. And I ended working in an agency called LSD. And I learned a lot about print and type there. It's like quite a good apprenticeship, and I learned really a lot that helped me nowadays still to do all my stuff on my own. But again, after some years, my guts, my stomach said, doesn't feel quite right here anymore. So, I mean, I had a really good time there. I met my wife in this apprenticeship in the school, but somehow it wasn't the right place to be anymore, I thought. So I went freelance around 1999 and did web design. Most of the time I did Flash. Does anyone remember Flash still? A couple more than the C64 at least. And I met a guy called Sascha Wolter around 2000. He just published his first book about Flash, Flash 4 back then, the first German book about this, and many people had questions to certain things in the book. So he founded the Flash Forum, which I ran with him and later took over. And we had about 120,000 people in the community, and started organizing an event called Flash Forum Conference in 2001. It's like more or less like a meeting for these people in the forum to meet in real life. And in the end, we had up to 600 people coming, and we even did a tour through 5 cities in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Really lovely time as well. And everything was quite cool. I had my job, I was doing freelance stuff, I really enjoyed it, and I even got my first kid in 2003 with my wife, and my son later in 2005. And about 10 years ago, my brother came to me and said he was diagnosed with cancer. That was obviously a shock, right? And he said something on one of the family birthdays that really stuck to my mind. Usually you hear that in movies, what he said. Because when I asked him how he deals with the fact that he might die earlier than expected, he said, I try to live every day now as if it is my last day, right? And this stuck to me. And I again thought like, listen to your inner voice. So, because I don't want to get that serious sick and ill before thinking like that, right? So I thought like, I want to think like that now, actually, that I'm healthy and everything is okay. So I took a blank paper, sat down and filled it out, negative and positive. And I mean, I really was happy by that time. It wasn't that I was disappointed or not satisfied, but I thought like, what is the one thing that I really like to do? And obviously that was the Flash Forum conference. And so I decided to run an event full-time. I mean, with no other job next to it, without projects that give me some money here and there, like just concentrate on that one event. And you can imagine my wife, me coming down to the studio on the rooftop and saying like, you know, I stopped working. I just want to run this event and we're gonna make a living, trust me. 3 kids, a house to pay the bill for. Great, but luckily she supported me like all the time, and she still does and helps me. And of course I wasn't like stupid. I mean, I wasn't like a fool and ran and had a dream. I gave myself 3 years. I thought, what's the period where the money maybe lasts? And so I gave myself 3 years to see if it works. And then after 3 years, I wanted to sit down and ask myself a few questions, which are, I mean, does it still work? And do I really enjoy what I do, right, after the 3 years? And yes, it did. Everything was fantastic. The first event was a great turnout. Everybody was so great supporting me. Like speakers were fantastic. Attendees came. And I had many partners on board. I mean, Trivago, by the way, is one of the companies supporting me for years and years and years. And I'm really thankful for that. Really great company, by the way. But you know, like on that route of success, like always going up, it's not like a straight line. It's ups and downs, right? It's more like a bumpy road. And 2013 was one of the years that reminded me of that, because in July I broke my foot. Thought like, okay, that can happen, right? I ruined the summer holidays because I was going on one of these snake boards with my daughter, and I thought, like, you know, we used to skateboard, right? My wife said like, Marc, don't step on that thing because we're going to go on holidays on Sunday and you know what's going to happen, you're going to break your foot. And it's like, it's a toy, I don't break my foot. I did. So I went to the hospital, they went to Austria, and I had a surgery. I mean, you see the foot, like you can't see it really, the bone was really completely fucked. You know, and then during the summer holiday, I followed them. We got a call that her grandma is in hospital, and she might die, and she did. And that was like one of the things that was changed, right? To the breaking the foot. Went back. On the way to the funeral of the grandma, I got a call from my mum, and on the phone she said, like, I can't make it. She was in tears. Can't make it to the funeral. Sorry, we found your brother dead. Not the one with cancer, but my other brother. And I was like, oh shit. I mean, that was the first time really that my brain was not able to process what I just heard. I was like, no, that's not working, right? And surely, like, that was a really, like, down period, and a lot of self-doubt, like asking all these questions, is everything I do the right thing, and all that kind of stuff. And finally, luckily, I got over it, and I really learned to find some positive aspects in any negative situation, and to get new motivation out of it. Not at least also because of the wonderful community I work in and with. I mean, I remember a situation where I was in Brighton then, at a conference called Deconstruct in September, still on crutches. And I remember the guy running the conference, Jeremy Keith, in that moment, when I told him the story, that he just gave me a big hug. He didn't say or tell me much. He was just giving me a hug, and it was just a great feeling. Like from many people, all the warmth and all that kind of stuff. And then I thought, like, you know what? These are the people I run the events for, and these are the people I like to meet at my events. And therefore, there was great motivation to keep running what I was doing, and to keep doing what I was doing. And instead of sticking the head in the sand, I changed again something and listened to my motivation to get something done. And I started Beyond Tolerant Berlin, in Berlin in 2014, right after that. Another 2 great years followed, 2014 and 2015. Events were great, money was okay, my family was well. But then a period came where I'm gonna look back to again, because my brother, who was diagnosed cancer, died in December 2015, and also my beloved dog, 16 years old, a great partner, a great guy, died as well. And that was like a downer again, you know, but I learned from the first tragedy that happened that there will be some positive energy somehow getting out of it. And of course you ask all these questions again, right? And look beyond your daily life and business. But it helped me to define my own kind of beyond, you know, what it stands for me. It's like, because as I said earlier, to look beyond the things that happen is for me like that the negative moments somehow fuel your positive batteries, your positive energy. It's like, for me, it's like that, because it's like more like fighting against it, maybe. And looking back to the last 7 years, it always was the case that these situations really were fueling my positivity. And the positive moments that luckily were there a lot, even way more than the negative ones, that just prove that the stuff that I was doing was right for me, right? And surely there's a lot of fear involved in this. I mean, I said wife, family and all that, we have to pay the bills regularly, but also questions like, before you start, will it work out? Will any people come to the event? Do I get any speakers? I mean, nobody knew me by that time, right? I was like some guy in Germany and was calling them or emailing them and asking them to come and speak at an event in Düsseldorf in Germany that nobody knows. They know Cologne and Berlin, but Düsseldorf, what? No. So, and of course, will I make any money? And I did. The first event went really well, and now the question was like, continuing it and doing another one. Do I trust that people will come again? I mean, the first one was great, yes, but will people come back? Will anyone like buy any tickets? And what if someone says any anything completely inappropriate on stage, for example. I mean, there's like a ton of stuff that you are challenged with and that you face and you fear, right? So yes, I made the idea of looking beyond the Tellerrand the thing that I want to force people into. I mean, like I want designers to look into code, and I want programmers to look into design, the beauty of type or graphic design, right? And next to all the few negative things that happened, so many wonderful things happened, and so many things that are examples for stepping out of your comfort zone. Like this guy, Josh Brewer, he in 2013 came to me in the lunch break of the second day and said, Marc, Megan Fisher, who just was on stage, gave the exact same talk that I'm gonna give. The content is completely the same, right? And I was like, oh shit, what can I do? And he's like, do you have a guitar for me? And I was like, a guitar? Yeah, maybe. I don't think he expected me to get him one, but I did. And here's what he made out of that.
I'm going to blame James completely for this, whichever way it goes. Because when I went back to my hotel room last night, I was haunted by one of the things that he said, which was, I want all of my work to be a love note. I'm a musician, so I want all of my work to be a love song. And I fell asleep last night thinking about that, and I woke up this morning, ran through my talk a couple times, had this really eerie kind of pit of the stomach moment where I thought, what would happen if I sang this? And I was like, nah, that's a terrible idea. What were you thinking? And I'm walking across from the park, and it started to get stronger and stronger, and I was like, no, we're not doing that. Forget about it. Absolutely no. That is the worst idea you've ever had. How embarrassing could this possibly be? And then about, a couple hours into this morning, I realized, you know what? I figure it's about time for the first web conference opera. So you're going to see a lot of themes that have been kind of touched upon, and I think hopefully this was unplanned, but I think it's going to summarize quite a bit of what we've been learning and kind of absorbing over this last 2 days. So, you guys ready? You'll have to bear with me because I'm going to look at Marc, who's, okay, there he is. Because he's going to change the slides for me. So this is going to be really interesting. All right, so this is called Photoshop Lies. Photoshop, you damn liar. Photoshop. And you guys are amazing. Thank you for bearing with me. And just remember, Lorem Ipsum is fucking evil. Woo-hoo! So evil.
We did that 40 minutes straight, a whole talk, really, completely. 40 minutes. Honestly, that was like incredible, really. And I mean, another like little story is Stefan Sargmeister in Berlin, for example, made the whole audience sing. It's not the case that he doesn't do that just at my event. He does that at other events as well. But the fact that a group is with so many different interests sang all together and were standing, but I mean, Ace, look at it.
Stefan
made them sing, but have you seen, there was no one sitting anymore, like everybody was standing, and that's great. I mean, that's great vibe. Can you imagine, like the whole, like 500 people are like completely into the event. I mean, beyond expectations, really. So during that same talk, I was out also because sometimes I manage to see a whole talk, but usually it is, I introduce the people, then I check if everything is running smoothly. So I did the same thing in this talk, and I come back usually then to the end of the talk, and I got some ice cream for me as well during that talk, and look what happened then.
So number one, it was thankfulness. I really have never been such a particular thankful person. For example, at talks like this, I never thank the organizer. I just think it's a little bit boring, and most of the times when I hear speakers thank the organizer, it always seems somehow insincere. So I'm going to change that tonight. Is Marc around? You want to thank the guy and then he's not here. Marc, are you around? Can we call him together? 1, 2, 3. Marc, are you around? Well, we might get him afterwards anyway. In any case, I actually do mean it. It's a total pain in the ass to organize such a thing. It would be a complete nightmare for me to do. Like nothing worse for me than organizing a conference, doing all the thankless tasks, then rebooking speaker planes. I think in my case, not that I made him rebook my flight, but there were just constant annoyances of the travel agent thinking that the flight changed, but it didn't. It's just like there's a lot of aggravation in organizing something like this. And I think he's doing a particularly great job. So wherever you are, Marc, thank you very much.
Yeah, things like this happen.
Thank you for the chocolate.
Yeah, I could go on with these kind of videos, but already over time. So again, I don't want you to be stupid and say like, you know what, don't take the money of the job that is offered to you. Like listen to your inner voice and trust your passion instead. It's not true, it's not that easy, right? It would be foolish to go like, oh, just do what I do. What I want you to do is maybe learn to listen more than you do it nowadays to your inner feeling. And sometimes, you know these client calls that you've got, maybe if you're self-employed. The first call and you think like, that's not ending good, that's not really ending well. But in the end, you take the job. And then after the job, or during the job, you say like, what did I do? I mean, that's like a pain in the ass, this job, right? And you should have listened to your inner gut. So that's what I maybe try to do in the end, right? And a few things along the way are important for me. And that's the constant things that I try to live to. Honesty is one of the things. And not honesty to other people, honesty to yourself. I mean, don't lie to yourself, right? If something isn't okay, then try to understand why and ask yourself questions. Again, I gave myself 3 years and said like, after the 3 years, I try to be very honest with the answers to that. If you then commit to something, commit to it 100%. I mean, really give everything you can for these days, and don't give up. Easy said, but like if you set yourself a certain amount of time, like in my case again, 3 years, then go through the 3 years and try to really work on it hard, even though it sometimes is hard work. And don't be stupid, right? I mean, don't think it's going to be easy. Just because you thought like, oh, I'm gonna follow my passion and then everything will work out and people are gonna support me. It's a shit ton of work and you are the only one doing it. It's also important to sit down and reflect. That's what I usually have done with my dog in the forest, like in one of the walks, and very clear and honest. And again, being honest is important there. And then accept things. I mean, Josh Brewer could have said, I'm going to give the talk. But no, he came up with an idea. I accepted that situation. It's like, let's go with it. And wonderful things happen if you sometimes just accept what is happening and not try to fight it and try to like worry too much, right? And being thankful is also something that is very, very, very important. Thankful for being that fortunate that the stuff I do is working, and I don't take it for granted. And my family is supporting me like for 7 years now, right? And I try to involve my family in many of the decisions, and I sometimes take them to conferences and to talks I give, like here. But see what can happen. And I'm very thankful that people like all the crew here doing exactly. Oh, hello, it's my little daughter. That was not planned. So that people like this put up events, because Mahali. So you can imagine what the feedback for that is, right? Nobody listened to what I was saying afterwards. But again, back to gratitude. I say thanks a lot, and first of all to people like you coming to events like this, because otherwise me wouldn't be needed to run events, right? And Rainer and Lisa also do it because you're coming. I mean, they could do it for themselves, but you know, it's like not the joy. The joy is like having people around. And also I say thank you to other people running events like this, like mine. There's a couple of events, like many events around the world, like you do. I mean, thank you for doing this, really, because those people really are the people who care, who want to inspire you, and who want to change something, and to look beyond the obvious. Danke.